Hello friends, my name is Yvonne Jones and I'm the Member of Parliament for Labrador. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to this wonderful part of our province of Newfoundland and Labrador and of our country, Canada. So whether you're visiting us for the first time, you haven't been here yet, or whether it's been your home for many years, you know, Labrador will capture all of your attention. It will open your eyes and your heart to a beautiful land and into a culture of people that are resilient, strong, and ready to welcome you. So I invite you to take this walk with me today. Do you know that Labrador has a population of just under 28,000 people, yet it spans a landmass of 294,330 square kilometers? For example, if you were to take the entire province of Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, and the island of Newfoundland, you could fit it all into the riding of Labrador. Yes, Labrador's landmass is quite huge, and it has earned itself the name the Big Land. Labrador is made up of very distinct Indigenous groups like the Innu and the Inuit, along with settlers. Many of our settlers are of European ancestry. While the Innu Nation resides in the communities of Natwashish and Sheshatshiu, and we're very nomadic people, the Inuit reside in the northern territory of Nunatsiavut, known as the Polar region, or in the southern territory of Nunatuavut, which is known as the subarctic region. Many of our settlers that came during the 17th and 18th century settled in mostly the coastal communities. They came here to get involved in the fishing economy of those times. And at that time, forestry development was taking on an economy of its own. That was what brought many people here from the island of Newfoundland and from other regions around the world. So it was from that period of the 1940s and onward, especially into the 60s, that we saw natural resource development becoming a major reason for people to choose Labrador as their home. Following the construction of the air base at Happy Valley Goose Bay, we also saw a major extension of a number of radar stations all along the coast of Labrador. Some of them there are many remnants of today. But one of the biggest developments at that time would have been the hydro development project at Churchill Falls. And that was the beginning of Churchill Falls becoming a community. It was this development, along with huge deposits of iron ore that were being discovered in Labrador West, that made Labrador the land of opportunity. Industrial development at that time drove the settlements of Labrador City and Wabush, which are two prominent communities today that we have in Labrador. So it was during the second half of the 20th century, and many families moved in from all over Newfoundland and from other regions of Canada to make Labrador their home. The iron ore industry continues to bring stability and growth to our region. Many don't know this, but the province of Newfoundland and Labrador borders on 3 places in Canada. And all of those boundaries, of course, are in Labrador. We border on Quebec in the western region. We also border on Quebec in the southern region. And in the northern region, we border both on Quebec and on Nunavut in the north, which is the Kelnik Island area. This is how we are placed in Canada. The Labrador Straits is a prime fishing economy. It is the best presence of the bass whalers found anywhere outside of their own part of the world. And it's also a tremendous presence of the Spanish galleons. Their history is dating back to the 16th century. And amazingly, their story is told right here in Labrador through the only World UNESCO Heritage Site, which is based in Red Bay. The Labrador Straits has a tremendous wealth of history, including Indigenous history and that of Europeans who came to fish here. But it's also known for many other reasons. First of all, it is the home of the second tallest lighthouse in Canada, and it portrays a strong presence in the French and English ancestry, along with a tremendous entrepreneurial spirit. Do you know, most people don't know, but it was in this region of Labrador where the Eagle River Credit Union and the Labrador Fishermen's Union Shrimp Company was founded as co-ops, started by people in their own communities. Those companies today are employing over 2,000 people and contributing millions in economic growth not just in Labrador, but throughout our province. Most of the communities are small, and they are dotted along the coastline of the Atlantic Ocean. Their primary industry is in the fishery, and they have been successful in building state-of-the-art processing facilities to employ people in that region. Today, they have 2 crab plants, several groundfish plants, the only shrimp processing facility in Labrador, and soon home to the newest cod processing facility in Newfoundland and Labrador. So the history on this coast stems back centuries, and it tells the story of our first ties of trade with Spain and with Portugal, the floater fishery of the Newfoundlanders, and the first Marconi cable and the first hospital of Dr. Grenfell can all be found in this region, and the interpretation through the eyes and artifacts at the Battle Harbour Historic Site. And let's not us forget that one of Canada's newest parks, the Mealy Mountain Park, is founded in the 3 regions of Labrador by 3 Indigenous governments. It will border on Cartwright, it will border on Nunatsiavut through Postville and Rigolette region, and on central Labrador and Innu lands and in Northwest River. You know, the Inuit of Nunatsiavut are exceptionally talented people, and they have been very successful in preserving their language and their culture. And they continue to demonstrate that through their songs, through their art, and through their craft. You know, they are really known for their stone carvings and their ability to rise the spirit from the lands. And if you've ever visited Nunatsiavut, whether it be in Hopedale or Nain, climb Mount Sophie, or had the opportunity to breathe in Hebron or walk along the Torngat Mountains, you will get to experience that. Spending time on the land in Nunatsiavut, hiking in those mountains, visiting those communities, and talking to the people who live there will certainly awaken that same spirit in you. Nunatsiavut is also the home to Labrador's largest nickel mine. It employs more than 50% Indigenous people, and the success of the nickel mine in Labrador is due to the strong partnerships that have been negotiated and the impact benefit agreements that have been settled between Nunatsiavut, the Innu Nation, and the companies. Because of these impact benefit agreements, all Labradorians have been better served. The strength of our Aboriginal partners and the ties that they have binded have been what has allowed us as an entire region to be able to grow and foster development from our resources. You know, as we make our way back to central Labrador, it incorporates many of the faces of our land. From the fur trappers of Northwest River and the Indigenous cultures, to missionaries and the military personnel, it is one of the most diverse regions of Labrador. We have been influenced by the Germans, the Italians, the British, the Americans, and the Dutch, who all came to work and live at Happy Valley Goose Bay as Allied military forces. Today, we are continued to be influenced by the many Filipinos that have chosen to immigrate to Labrador and to make this place their home. Today, over 1% of Labrador's population is now made up of Filipinos. Happy Valley Goose Bay is best known today as the 4th largest producer of hydropower in North America. Of course, Churchill Falls, Muskrat Falls. So I know that a lot of you have probably visited Central Labrador in the past, as it has been more of the center of government and the center of business. And many of you, I'm sure, have been to Western Labrador as well. You know, the communities of Labrador City and Wabush are very strong communities. But you know, one time this was a region that was very transient in the mining industry. But now it is a community, and it continues to grow and establish itself right in the roots of Labrador. It is the region of future growth for all of us. Whether you look at the iron ore developments that are already expanding over there, we have 2 expansion projects now, the Iron Ore Company of Canada and Tata Steel. But we're also in the works of adding 2 new potential mines into Cora Resources and Alderon. So the focus for Labrador West is really become longevity and sustainability, and we are focusing our energy to the job creation and business opportunities that come with these new developments. But we're also focused to increasing hydro availability for Western Labrador and to expanding the transportation corridor into Setil. As you know, Labrador's iron ore is landlocked, and we depend upon a good relationship with Quebec and Sept-Îles to move Labrador iron ore to North American markets. That success we have proven to work, and will continue to do that. Labradorians are very hard-working people. We're also very optimistic, and we're very determined. I guess it's the tough challenges that we've had that has made us stronger. But it's also the love that we've had for each other and for our communities that make us proud to want to welcome you. Thank you for taking this walk with me today. And if you haven't been to Labrador yet, it's time to come. And if you have been, remember, you're just seeing the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more to discover. Come join us right here in Labrador.